Dawn Baker.
And I'm Mike Sela. The Chatham County mother found guilty on all charges this afternoon in the Chatham County Courthouse.
Simon was facing 19 charges from the state. Those charges include malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, and concealing the death of another.
Our Flynn Snyder and Shay Schrader have been following this trial since jury selection. We'll get to Shay in just a few minutes, but first, we do want to check in with our Flynn Snyder, who was at that Chatham County Sheriff's news conference where they talked about the guilty verdict in this case.
Yeah, Mike, Dawn, good evening. We're outside of Chatham County Police headquarters tonight where Chief Jeff Hadley just gave some remarks following that verdict today, that shocking verdict that came just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Guilty on all 19 counts for Leilani Simon, stemming from the death of her 20-month-old Quentin. She's accused of killing him and putting his body in a dumpster just over 2 years ago at this point. Hadley talked about the emotion that was involved with this case, not only for the public, but also for his officers who were involved in the investigation. He specifically talked about CCPD officer Sophia Zerke, who took the stand during this trial, becoming emotional, talking about the moments where she found remains that would later be discovered as Quentin Simon's remains in that landfill during the weeks-long search there. He also said he was grateful for this verdict and talked about a lot of the police work that went into making this case prosecutable for prosecutors and able to get this guilty verdict today. He acknowledged some of the criticism that his department faced 2 years ago during the course of the investigation, including the time it took for them to arrest Leilani Simon and officially charge her with murder. But he said that this was a very thorough investigation, one of the biggest investigations that this department has ever handled, and they left no stone unturned during this case.
But I believed in the work that we did. I believe we did everything that we could do. We left no stone unturned in our ability to present a case to the DA's office for them to prosecute. And I had every belief that they were going to come back with a guilty verdict.
Chief Hadley also talked about the impact this case has had on the greater Chatham County community and in some cases nationwide. He says that he hopes today's verdict brings peace and comfort to some and that he is proud of his department in this investigation and following today's verdict. We're going to have much more on Chief Hadley's remarks coming up throughout the evening. For now, though, we're live outside Chatham County Police headquarters this afternoon. Flynn Snyder, WTOC News.
Thank you, Flynn. Our Shay Schrader joins us now live as well. Shay, you've been following this case since Quentin was reported missing 2 years ago, and you've been in the courtroom this entire trial. Walk us through today's developments.
Yes, the prosecution is calling this verdict a relief and a carriage of justice. After 8 days of testimony, the state making the case that they believe that Simon had killed her 20-month-old Quentin and thrown him in a dumpster. And they were able to make that case by calling almost 40 witnesses and presenting 100 pieces of evidence to the jury. That they say that they were able to do that because of efforts that they say are nothing short of heroic by the Chatham County Police Department, as well as the FBI and all the other agencies that assisted in this case while it was being investigated. Now, lack of physical evidence in the case was a sticking point, as there's still no identified cause or manner of death for little Quentin, whose body was in such poor condition when it was recovered that it was impossible to tell what killed him. Now, the defense zeroed in on that fact throughout the trial, saying that there was no hard evidence Simon murdered the child. However, the prosecution built a case that they say ruled out every other possibility and was successful, leading to Simon being found guilty on all 19 counts in the indictment, including malice murder, felony murder, and concealing the death of another. Jenny Parker, who was a prosecutor in the case and delivered very emotional and powerful closing statements, the last thing that the jurors heard before they headed into that deliberation room, says that she is, of course, happy with the verdict, but knows that nothing will bring Quentin Simon back.
We can't undo this, we can't, but I hope it does give a lot of people out there who have been watching this trial some closure and some confidence in the justice system, that if we have time to work through the issues, the investigators have time to do their jobs, we have time to have a fair trial, that we get justice.
throughout the trial, there were very few people in the courtroom, which is a little bit shocking to see considering the amount of people that were invested in this case when it was going on. And noticeably absent was Simon's mother, Billie Howell. She does, however, tell WTOC that she feels like justice is served, saying, quote, "Our family is devastated and Quentin deserves justice. We want Quentin home so he can be laid to rest. I hate that I'm not there for Leilani. We love her, but we do not stand by any of this." Now, as of what's next for Simon, she will be returning to court at some point to be sentenced, although that date is not set yet. She is facing the possibility of life in prison. We will be sure to keep you updated as the case continues to develop and as it heads for sentencing. For now, live outside the Chatham County Courthouse, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
A WTOC